The pandemic has been the single biggest factor in mental health, and for two reasons. One, we're all struggling, and number two, the stigma's fallen. Everyone knows that we're all struggling, so no longer do we have to pretend like we're fine and we're just able to suck it up. It's more about transparency and honesty and realism, and people saying, you know what? It's okay not to be okay. And the pandemic's impact has really changed mental health.
So you've been in this field a long time working with athletes, including myself and our cheerleading team in college. You're also a college football player yourself. Do you feel there's more pressure on athletes today than when you first started with sports psychology?
Absolutely. In fact, if anybody wants to challenge me on that, just come with me this weekend to any Little League game out there and watch the parents in the stands and the coaches on the sidelines. Not to say that all of them are this way, but too often the intensity of emotions coming from the parents and the coaches on the sideline is just too much today. What we've seen is an entire generation of young athletes raised up with more anxiety than ever. Now, it's not just because of the parents and the coaches. Social media, for example, has been another major factor in the rise of anxiety, and sleep deprivation, a major cause of it as well. The anxiety and mental health concerns that we're seeing for athletes today is unlike anything we've ever seen before.
I saw table tennis gold medalist Jun Mizutani, who's a Japanese guy, posting about how he's getting death threats on Twitter via DMs, direct messages, and he said he's been able to shake it off. But in your experience, has cyberbullying been a topic of concern for athletes that you work with?
At the top level, yes. Sadly, it's very passive aggressive. It's very quiet in terms of the public, what they might know. But for the athlete themselves, it's very common to get some hate mail or even some death threats.
What would you say to those who think that they should be able to deal with all of this? Because they are these superstars, high-profile athletes who are high-achieving, high-performing.
No matter who we are, we all have a breaking point. And even for these athletes, don't judge a book by the cover. Just because they look like they're physical specimens out there doing amazing athletic feats doesn't mean that the 6 inches between their ears is as equally well developed. And the reality is, it may not be enough given the context that they find themselves in.
In your view, are the organizers of this huge event doing enough for the athletes? The IOC told me they have resources, including psychologists and a hotline in 70 different languages. What do you think?
Well, it's not enough, and we've long known that we're not doing enough for mental health. I would challenge every person right now to think about their home, their community, their sports team, their high school. What we've got to do is put the funding behind some of these organizations to say, yes, there's enough people here right now. If you need the help, we can help you. Sadly, in many situations, many places, maybe even our own communities, that might not be the case right now.